Hello everyone, and welcome back. Have you looked at the price of gold lately? It went down by 21%. Have you looked at silver? It went down by 41%. When you look at your computer screen and see all that red color, it can feel very scary. It feels like you are losing your money. But while you were feeling scared, something huge was happening. China was making a very big move. This move is worth $634 billion. Almost nobody is talking about this. I spent a long time looking for the truth. I found the trail of money. I looked at the official papers from the United States Treasury. By the time this video ends, you will see exactly where that money went. You will see what China is building. You will understand what this means for your gold and silver. Once you see this big picture, you will never look at money the same way again. Welcome to the hidden world of money. If this is your first time watching, I talk about things the big news channels will not tell you. If you like learning the truth, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It is free to do, and it helps more people see this important news. If you watch my videos, you know about the big price drop. Gold went from over $5,000 to $4,400. Silver went from $121 down to $72. I have talked about why this happened before. I talked about the big banks and the rules they changed. You can find those videos in the description, but do not leave this video yet. What I am showing you today is the real reason the price fell. It is also the reason why the price drop does not matter in the long run. I also talked about how China is stopping silver from leaving its country. They have a list of 44 companies that are allowed to handle silver. They have locked down most of the world's silver supply. This starts on January 1st, but today is a new day. I'm going to show you the whole plan. It is not just about buying gold. It is not just about silver rules. It is a plan with 7 parts. This plan is very well organized. It is the most organized plan any country has ever used for money. Every part of this plan is happening right now. I also found a very strange number in a report about silver. This number is so crazy that it will change how you think about silver forever. I will show you that number later in the video. But first, let's look at one number that changes everything. Even after the biggest price drop in 45 years, the big banks on Wall Street are not worried. They still think gold will go up. JP Morgan says gold will go to $6,300. Deutsche Bank says $6,000. Citigroup says silver will go to $150. Morgan Stanley told the people who keep money with them to put 20% of their money into gold. That is a huge amount. They have never said that before. What do they know that you do not know? Let me show you. It starts with a money trail. This trail goes from Washington, D.C. all the way to Beijing. In the year 2013, China had over $1 trillion in United States Treasury bonds. A bond is like a special paper that says the government owes you money. China was the #1 lender of money to America. Today, that number is much lower. It is now only $682 billion. That is the lowest it has been since 2008. This means China took out $634 billion. That is a lot of money. It is more money than the whole country of Sweden or Switzerland makes in a year. China took an entire country's worth of money out of the American system, and they are doing it faster and faster. In 2022, they sold $173 billion. In 2023, they sold $50 billion. In 2024, they sold $57 billion. So far in 2025, they have sold over $115 billion. They used to be the #1 holder of this debt. Now they are number 3. Japan and the United Kingdom have more. But here is the question the news people do not ask. Where did all that money go? Money does not just vanish like magic. It moves from one place to another. So where did China put $634 billion? They put it into gold. They put it into the same metal you have in your house or your bank account. The big bank of China has been buying gold for 14 months in a row. They did not skip a single month. They bought it when it was $3,000. They bought it when it was $4,000. They bought it when it was $5,000. They did not care about the price. Think about that. You and I might get scared if the price drops a little bit, but China did not stop even when the price was going up very fast. This is not just a game to them. It is a long-term plan for the country. They are thinking about the next 20 or 50 years, not just next week. At the start of 2023, China had 210 tons of gold. Now they have over 236 tons. That is worth more than $319 billion. And those are just the numbers they tell us. Many experts think China has much more gold than they say. They might be buying it through other banks, so nobody knows the real total. But here is the most important part. China's gold is only 8% of all its savings. Let's compare that to other countries. The United States has 66% of its savings in gold. Germany has 68%. France has 65%. Italy has 64%. Even Russia has 30%. China only has 8%. Do you see what that means? If China wants to have as much gold as the other big countries, They need to buy a lot more. They would need to buy 5,000 to 7,000 more tons of gold. That would cost another $1 trillion. It is like a long race. China has only run the first mile. They have 25 miles left to go. Every time they buy more gold, it makes the gold you own more valuable. And they have a long way to go. It is not just China either. Before 2022, all the central banks in the world bought about 500 tons of gold a year. Since 2022, they have been buying over 1,000 tons every year. They are buying twice as much as they used to. In 2025, people wanted more gold than ever before. It was more than during the world wars. It was the biggest year for gold ever. JP Morgan thinks banks will buy 755 tons in 2026. Goldman Sachs thinks they will buy 60 tons every single month. So when someone tells you that gold is finished, ask them which bank stopped buying. They cannot name one because they are all still buying. Now let's talk about silver. This part is very important. The numbers here might scare you. For 5 years, the world has not made enough silver. People are using more silver than the mines can dig up. We are missing 820 million ounces of silver. That is like a whole year of mining just gone. Where did it go? It went into solar panels to make electricity. It went into electric cars. It went into computers and phones. Once silver is used in these things, it is very hard to get back. It is gone forever. And the mines cannot just find more silver quickly. It takes 10 or 15 years to start a new mine. But we need more silver every day for things like artificial intelligence and green energy. The two lines are going in different ways. We need more, but we have less. Experts think 2026 will be the 6th year in a row that we do not have enough silver. There is no end in sight. But look at the vaults where the silver is kept. In the place called Comex, the silver is down 70%. In London, it is down 40%. In Shanghai, it is at its lowest level in 10 years. The big rooms for silver are becoming empty all over the world. And here is the scary number I told you about. For every 1 real ounce of silver in the Comex vault, there are 356 pieces of paper saying someone owns that silver. That is 356 to 1. Imagine a game of musical chairs. There are 356 people playing, but there is only one chair. What happens when the music stops? If even a few people want their real silver, the system will break. They do not have enough silver to give to everyone. In some places like Japan, people were paying $130 for silver in January. But the computer screen said the price was only $71. In Kuwait, it was $106. The price on your phone is not the same as the price for real physical silver. This is why silver crashed so hard. The paper market is very weak. When people need cash, they sell their paper silver fast. But the real world did not change. We still do not have enough silver. China still has rules against selling it. The vaults are still getting empty. None of those things changed on Friday. So when someone says the silver story is over, ask yourself some questions. Do we still need solar panels? Yes. Is there still a shortage? Yes. Is China still keeping its silver? Yes. The answer to all of these is that the story is not over. Now let's look at the big picture. Gold and silver are like the bullets for a weapon China is building. This part of the story is what connects everything. Most people do not see this. Remember the 7 parts of the plan? Part 1 was buying gold. Part 2 was the silver rules. Now let's look at part 3. It is called CIPS. This stands for Cross-Border Interbank Payment System. It is China's version of a system called SWIFT. SWIFT is how money moves between countries. The United States uses SWIFT to tell other countries what to do. If America is mad at a country, it can cut them off from SWIFT. That is what happened to Russia. Russia lost $300 billion because America decided to freeze its money. If you were China and you saw that happen, what would you do? You would want your own system so America cannot take your money? That is exactly what China did. In 2021, their system moved $13 trillion. By 2024, it was $24 trillion. It is growing very fast. By the middle of 2025, it moved $94 trillion. 124 countries are using it. Over 4,000 banks are connected to it. While you were worried about the price of gold on Friday, 4,000 banks were using a system that does not need the US dollar. This system is not going away. Think of SWIFT as the only road between two towns. Everyone has to use it. China just built a second road. It is smaller now, but it is getting bigger every day. Once there are 2 roads, people will use both. They will not just depend on one. In 2025, this system started working in the Middle East and Africa. These are places where China is doing a lot of business. This is very smart. Part 4 is the digital Yuan. China built a way to send digital money. They have moved over $55 billion this way. Most of it is in Chinese money, not US dollars. China has a huge team of people working on this in Shanghai. And look at who is helping them. Hong Kong, Thailand, the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia. Stop and think about Saudi Arabia. For 50 years, Saudi Arabia had a deal with America. They said all oil must be bought with US dollars. This is why the dollar is so strong. It is the reason America can have so much debt. But now, Saudi Arabia is working with China on a digital money system. What happens when other oil countries see this? They will want to join too. This is a very big change for the whole world. It is not just one event. It is a big wave of change. Part 5 is about trade. 1/3 of all the things China buys and sells is now done in its own money, the Yuan. 10 years ago, that number was 0. Think about that. When China buys oil or sells phones, they are not using the dollar anymore. Every time they use their own money, the demand for the US dollar goes down. This makes the dollar less powerful over time. You already know this will affect how much things cost in the future. Part 6 is about debt. Some countries like Kenya are changing their debt. Instead of owing dollars, they now owe Chinese money. Ethiopia is thinking about doing this too. Why does this matter? If a country owes dollars, it has to work with America. If they owe Chinese money, they work with China. This moves the power from Washington to Beijing. This is happening in many countries in Africa and Asia. It is like 1,000 small strings being pulled. One string does not break the dollar, but it makes it weaker every year. Part 7 is the most important. In 2025, the leader of China said that having a strong currency is a part of being a strong country. They even wrote it into their laws. Their plan for the next 5 years says that making their money used all over the world is a main goal. This is not just a speech. It is the law for the second biggest economy in the world. They are telling us exactly what they are going to do. We just have to listen. Now, I want to be honest with you. The US dollar is not going to disappear tomorrow. It is still used for most of the world's savings. The Chinese money is still very little compared to the dollar. America is still very strong in a crisis. If someone tells you the dollar will crash next week, they are just trying to scare you. Do not believe them. But the dollar's time of being the only boss is ending. It used to be 72% of the world's savings. Now it is 56%. It is slowly going down. In this situation, both sides need real things like gold. America needs gold to show it is still strong. China needs gold to show it is becoming strong. This means gold wins no matter what. It is like 2 stores in a town. The old store is bigger, but the new store is getting more customers every day. Both stores need to buy food from the farmer. You are the farmer because you own the gold and silver. Let's look at all 7 parts again very quickly. China is selling US bonds. They are buying gold every month. They are keeping their silver. They built a new way to move money. They made digital money with Saudi Arabia. They are trading in their own money. They are changing other countries' debt into their money. This is all happening right now. China is not trying to fight the dollar. They are just building a way to live without it. And that way is built on gold. So what happens next? What are the big banks saying now? Even after the price drop, they are still very happy about gold. JP Morgan says gold will go to $6,300. They said this after the crash. They think gold will be very high in 2027. Deutsche Bank and UBS think it will be 6,000 or more. Goldman Sachs thinks it will be 5,400. These are the biggest banks in the world. They all think the price will go up. Some experts think it could even go to $8,000 this year. Some think it could go to $20,000 by the year 2030. That sounds like a lot, but the direction is the same for everyone. They all think it is going up. For silver, Citigroup thinks it will go to $150. Even though silver lost 41% of its value, they raised their target. A very famous trader named Peter Brandt said that 2026 is going to be a big year for silver. He has been trading for 50 years, and he knows what he is talking about. Let's look at history. In the 1970s, gold went from $35 to $200. Then it crashed and lost half its value. People said it was over. They sold their gold because they were scared. But then gold went from $100 to $850. It went up more than 8 times after people thought it was finished. Silver did the same thing. It went up, then it crashed, then it exploded to $50. Does this sound like what happened last Friday? A big drop after a big gain is normal. It has happened before. History does not always do the same thing, but it usually follows a pattern. What happened recently looks like a short break, not the end of the race. Here's what I think about all of this. I looked at the data for a long time. I looked at the reports from banks and governments. I spent weeks studying this. I think the price drop happened because people needed cash quickly. It was not because the reason for owning gold changed. No bank stopped buying. No silver shortage was fixed. The rules in China did not change. I believe gold has been in a very strong position for many years. Banks buying 1,000 tons of gold a year is a huge deal. It shows that countries are changing how they save money. Using fewer dollars is a real thing that is happening in over 100 countries. These big changes do not stop because of one bad Friday. I also think silver is ready to go up very fast. We have a 5-year shortage. We cannot find a replacement for silver in solar panels or computers. China is keeping its silver. There are too many paper silver contracts and not enough real silver. This is a very powerful combination, but I must be honest, the price will go up and down a lot. It will be a bumpy ride. Silver went from $29 to over $100, then down 40% in 2 days. If you cannot handle seeing the price go down, silver might not be for you. The plan is strong, but the journey will be hard. This is just what I see in the data. I am not telling you what to do with your money. I think the dollar is losing its power slowly. It is going from being the only boss to being one of the bosses. And in this world, gold is the most important thing to have. No government can print more gold. No government can control it easily. Gold has been important for 5,000 years. In 1970, it was $35. Today, even after a crash, it is $4,900. Every time the price dropped, people thought it was the end. They thought so in 1975, in 1980, in 2013, and in 2020. And now they think so in 2026. But the people who looked at the facts instead of the fear were the ones who did well. Are you going to be one of those people? Remember the $634 billion we talked about? Now you know where it went. You know what China is doing. You know what is coming next. The banks are still buying. The silver is still missing. China still needs more gold. The race has just started. What happened last Friday was just a break in the middle of the story. Based on all the papers and reports I have seen, I believe the price will go much higher. If this video helped you better understand the world, please share it with one friend. Most people do not know these numbers. Subscribe to The Hidden Economy. I will keep telling you the truth. In my next video, I will show you how one big bank made a lot of money during the silver crash. You will want to see how they did it. Tell me in the comments what you think the price of gold will be in 2026. I read every comment you write. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.